Hey there, fellow travelers. Mark here with Wolters World, and we're in Toronto, Canada. You can see the CN Tower back there hidden away. Really cool city to check out. And guys, we've been driving through Canada for a month and it's been fantastic. But even places that I love, like here in Toronto or Quebec or Prince Edward Island, beautiful scenery, Anna Green Gables, all these great things. There's stuff we love and there's stuff we're not gonna like. And that's what we have for you today. The 5 things you're gonna love and hate about visiting Canada. Now let's get started with the bad news. The first thing you might not like about coming to Canada, I don't know how to put it this way, it's more the remoteness. Now it can be cool being all remote and in the middle of nowhere with all the nature and everything, and it's fantastic. But the issue is you have very big driving distances between some of the places. You know, if you're going from Prince Edward Island to, Quebec, I mean, it's a 9-hour drive. Or if you're driving across Alberta or you're driving the Yukon territories, you have this remoteness and you need to be careful. Make sure you're filling up on gas. Also, cell coverage can get spotty when you're in these remote areas. So, let people know where you're going. I know that I say it's a hate about all this driving, but what's cool about driving in Canada, the roads are good, they clean it off for the snow, the people are friendly drivers, they'll let you in, and that's one of the great things about it is you don't have the road rage when you're here. So yes, you have a lot of driving to do, but at least it's not too stressful, okay? So that's the first thing. Now the second thing you're not gonna like about coming to Canada is the sales taxes and, well, the tipping you have to do. And Canada and the US are very similar in that way, is that the price you see on the goods is one. But then there's sales tax added on top of it. Here there's a federal sales tax, also there's a provincial sales tax, and there can be other taxes put on there, and that can add up the price for anywhere from 5 to 20% of the sticker price. So be prepared. So if you go someplace and it's a $1 menu, well, it might not be $1, it might be more than that. So you have to pay attention to the taxes on there. Also, you do tip here in Canada between 15 and 20% when you go to a sit-down restaurant. And that's one of the things that some of my European travelers and Asian travelers, when they come to the US and Canada, they kind of complain about, why do we have to tip? Why don't they give them a living wage? Listen, travelers, this is part of the culture here. You tip 15 to 20%. So that second thing you're gonna hate, the sales taxes and the tipping when you go out to eat can add up 20 to 40% more onto your final bill when you're going out to eat, drink, make merry, and these kind of things. So just be prepared for that. And the third thing you're not going to like about coming to Canada, I want to call it the empowered crosswalkers. Wherever you go in Canada, the pedestrians have the right-of-way and they know it, and they don't even look. They just go, it's green, and they just go. Okay, I can't tell you how many times I've seen people literally they get in the crosswalk right when it starts to turn and they walk so slow. And they don't even look at you. You're like, come on, and they just go slow. And it's funny because when you're driving, you almost have to check out, half a block down, are there any bikes coming? Is there anybody running? Because I gotta be prepared to stop for them if I'm making my right turn. And these empowered crosswalkers, though they're doing nothing wrong, do get a little frustrating. And I know we were in Ottawa yesterday, and this lady was actually jaywalking, which you don't see too much here. And a bus is coming, she goes, oh my. And she just keeps walking nice and slow across the street with her 5 kids. I'm like, what are you doing? Of course, the bus stopped in the middle of the intersection and everything, but it is, these empowered crosswalkers, just get on your nerves a little bit, okay? And with that, be careful of the bikers when you are driving around, because even if you're in some of the highways, I know when we drove from Maine to Prince Edward Island, I mean, there was a few accidents that were almost caused at exits because the bikes, pedaling bikes, they're on the side of the highway and you got to pay attention for them. So that's kind of the third thing you're not going to like, is the empowered crosswalkers and bikers here in Canada. What else you might not like about Canada? Well, let's move to another place and check that part out. So now we're in Prince Edward Island in Charlottetown. Beautiful place to go check out. Really like Prince Edward Island. And behind me we have the Province House. This is where kind of the beginning ideas of Canada took shape 150 years ago. And so the fourth thing you might not like about when you come to Canada is it's not cheap. Now, it's not super expensive, especially if you get outside of Toronto and Montreal, and Vancouver, which are very expensive. You get outside, you're going to spend more than you would in the US, or I would say in some parts of Europe as well. So that's one thing you're not going to like. So prepare for that. Basically, it's 1-to-1 US dollar versus Canadian dollar. And Prices are just slightly bit higher here, but just be prepared for that. It's not going to be a cheap vacation. It's not going to be super expensive, but it is more expensive than traveling in the US, especially if you're looking at gas, lodging, and food. Okay? Now, the fifth thing you might not like about when you come to Canada is one of the things that most likely, if you're a tourist, you're probably not coming at this time except to go snowing, and that's the winters here. It does get bitterly cold, like unsafe cold. That's why most people live towards the south of the country, because it's going to get extremely cold here. So make sure if you're going to plan your trip to Canada, the best times to come, late spring. So May, June, July, August, September, those are the months you really want to focus on. Now, there are some beautiful things to see. You know, you got the winter markets and the winter fairs in Quebec and these kind of things that are cool. So just know that it can be extremely cold here in the summertime. Okay, so just be prepared for that. Now, those are just 5 little things you might not like about Canada. It is a fantastic place to visit. We've gone to Toronto, Montreal, Quebec City here. I mean, more of the center to the east, but it's a great place to go. And that's why, let's get into the 5 things you're going to love. And the first thing you're going to love about Canada, and the really big difference you're going to see is it's the nature here. There's amazing natural beauty here. Whether you go to Banff National Park or you go to 1,000 Islands Parkway, driving down there, Niagara Falls, coming here to Prince Edward Island and seeing the coast and all kinds of stuff. It is truly a beautiful place, a beautiful country, and when you drive around, you're literally going to look outside the windows of your car, and when you're going by or you're taking your tours, and you're going to love it because it is gorgeous here. So take the time to do some hikes, go to the beaches, go to the national parks, or the provincial parks. Algonquin Provincial Park, if you're by Toronto or Ottawa, a nice little place to go in between the two. It's beautiful here. And when you come in the fall time, you know, it's starting to get a little chilly, but when the leaves change, it is unbelievable. And the sun rises on the east coast and the sun sets on the west coast. Oh, they're just to die for. And that's just because, you know, the first thing I love about Canada is the natural beauty. It is just gorgeous here. Now, the second thing you're going to love about coming to Canada are the people. I mean, these people are freaking awesome. They are so friendly. They are so helpful. I mean, we've gone all over the, you know, like I said, from basically Toronto to Prince Edward Island, and everybody, all the hotels, all the restaurants, everybody's been super friendly and super helpful. They're giving us tips on what to see, what to do, what not to do, what you should do on the 3rd time you come back to visit Montreal. It's fantastic, but the people are so nice. And I know we talk about, you know, Americans being like the superficial nice sometimes. Well, the Canadians are super nice and they're very genuine about it, and they really enjoy when tourists come here and they want to help you have a great time. And so it's kind of funny because it's kind of like when I was in France, you know, when I talked to French people, they're all like a mini tour guide for their city. Here in Canada, it's the same thing with the people. You meet people, they'll literally try to plan your vacation for you because they want to be that helpful, and they are just fantastically friendly. And that's one of the things you really enjoy about coming here is just going down and you can walk down the street, people will come and talk to you, you can talk to them, and it's just a fun thing to meet these people, okay? So those are the first 2 things we love. Now, what are the 3rd thing you're gonna love? Now, let's go see another part of Canada to add on to that. So the 3rd thing you're gonna love about coming to Canada, we're by the Marché Bon Secours. We're in Montreal now, cool city, very cosmopolitan city. And the 3rd thing you're gonna love about coming to Canada is, the multiculturalism here. Yes, we all know about the French and English influence, but Canada is different than the US. In the US, it's a melting pot. You come to the US and you're kind of forced to integrate. Canada celebrates those eccentricities, those differences of culture, and lets you be yourself, lets you keep your culture from home. We just ate a great rodizio from Brazil, drank Portuguese beer, had, you know, ate in Chinatown here, which felt almost like we were back in China where we used to live. And the thing is, you have this multicultural aspect of Canada that is totally awesome. From the people, the food, the cities. Yes, you do have the really cool French European influence in Quebec, but also the English influence. If you go to Prince Edward Island and other places, you really get this feel, and it's awesome. So that's the 3rd thing you're gonna love, is the multicultural aspect of Canada. The 4th thing you're gonna love about coming to Canada is there's something for everybody. Whether you're my little kid playing in the dirt, or you're my son who likes to go hiking and to the beach, or my wife who loves architecture, or me who loves just to, you know, relax and enjoy a beer or fun or festivals, Canada has something for everybody. And what's cool is they have these big cities like Montreal. But you know what? In 15 minutes, you can be outside, outdoors in the wilderness, and it is so cool. And they do have something for everyone. The Jazz Festival here in Montreal, skiing by Vancouver, going to the Banff National Park, or the provincial parks, Algonquin. There's so much to do and see here in Canada for everybody the historical cities, the historical towns, going to see the old town of Quebec, going to Prince Edward Island, exploring in the territories, fishing. I mean, it is just a fantastic country, and there's something for everybody here. And then the fifth thing you're gonna love about Canada, I'll be honest, it's the poutine. Well, the poutine, if you don't know what poutine is, it's basically, it has a lot of different variations, but the base is the same. French fries with cheese curds on top and then gravy. Sometimes people put meat on top or bacon and stuff, but the basic is French fries, cheese curds, and gravy. And it is the most quintessential Canadian dish you have to have. It doesn't matter if you go to a fancy restaurant, they'll have poutine. Or you can go to the A&W, fast food place, they have poutine. It's everywhere here, and it's fantastic, and you have to eat it. And with that poutine, I'd say number 5 is the Canadian culture that is here, with the food, with the drinks, with the hockey and all these things. You love it, and you learn to love it while you're here because the people have this pride in their country. And no, it's more than just putting their flag on their backpack when they travel. It's all the stuff that's here. Yes, when you watch TV here, you'll see hockey in every commercial. The candy does have a lot of maple syrup flavors, and the poutine is awesome. You've got to eat it. The beer is fantastic. There's a reason why we drink Canadian beer in the US. It's because it's good. And all these Canadian culture things, these little differences, really make it a fantastic place. Because, Canadians sometimes get upset, and Americans get upset, when people say, oh, Canada and the US, they're the same. No, we are very different. And some of those cultural differences really make Canada fantastic. And the ones I like to focus on are the food, like the poutine. Oh, the duck in Quebec is fantastic, okay? Also the beer, and of course the maple syrup, which is silly, but it is really dang good here. And these things, and all these things combined, really make Canada fantastic. So those are my 5 things you'll love and hate about visiting Canada. If you want more stuff, 5 things you'll love about here in Montreal, or Prince Edward Island, or Toronto, or all other places, check us out at our website at woltersworld.com. We're also on Twitter and Facebook, and we really appreciate likes and subscriptions. Now I'm gonna go get my son, who's playing in the rocks here, to have more of a great time here in Canada, because it is awesome. From skiing to drinking to hiking to cool museums and buildings, it's awesome. So, au revoir, goodbye from Montreal. Bye.